candidate who can run on this record, not from it. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to the next President of the United States, Ron Paul.
Welcome. I appreciate that very much. And I want you to make sure that you know my wife is with me today, Carol. And our granddaughter, Liz, is also with us. You know, things have been going very well, but we keep coming back to Washington because we expect to do real well here. It's a little more complicated in Wyoming how they pick the delegates, and we weren't expecting a whole lot, but we ended up getting 6 delegates out of Wyoming to start with. So often it comes up about, the differences. They'll say, why you attack him, or why you say this about that, and I usually end up saying, well, I'm really campaigning against all three, one not different than the other. They all represent the status quo. We have something different. But the one thing is about the other three, and really the establishment, they really represent the past as far as I'm concerned. I think our campaign represents the future. Right now, I think people are sick and tired of the past. For me, the past has been the past 100 years because we've been slipping and sliding away from what we were given, and that was a republic with a constitution that was supposed to limit the federal government. But for 100 years, we have been going in the wrong direction, whether it's on taxes or on a monetary issue or the foreign policy or personal liberty. It's all been negative. It's all negative still in Washington, D.C. But I'll tell you what, the people are waking up, and they're sick and tired of it, and they're ready for some change. There certainly was a significant change in 1913 when they decided to give the American people the income tax. The founders didn't give us the income tax, and it was fought against for a long time, but they said, well, it'll just be a little bit, low percentage, and just for a few people, it won't be a big deal. But even if the income tax comes in at 1% to the people, it's 100% of the principle that says the government owns you, because that means they own your income and they allow you to keep that percentage that they want you to keep under their conditions. So even a very small income tax is very bad because it leads to the monstrosity that we have today. That's why in a free society, in a true republic, a limited government, we would not have an income tax, and we would have to repeal the 16th Amendment. Certainly in that same period of time, we had the introduction of that little group of people in Washington that designs our monetary policy. The Federal Reserve System came in 1913. And, I took a couple of days off for campaigning. I went back to D.C. I went to visit with my friend Ben Bernanke. And I tried to explain to him that the Federal Reserve hasn't been doing a very good job. They've been in business for 99 years, and they've lost 98% of the value of the currency, the dollar that they got in 1913. So I'm bound and determined that next year on the 100th anniversary, we should celebrate by repealing the Federal Reserve Act. But at that same time in our history, especially with Woodrow Wilson, the idealism of Wilson was that our policy would become making the world safe for democracy. We should aggressively use our force to go around the world and promoting what we believe in. Now, defending our country is one thing, but aggressively trying to spread what they call American exceptionalism makes no sense. The American people and our country has had a lot of exceptional ideas, and we've had good prosperity, and we are very exceptional in many ways. But this notion that we are so exceptional that we can use force to, when other countries occupy these countries and tell other people how they must live, makes no sense whatsoever. That cancels out all our exceptionalism. A truly exceptional nation or exceptional town or exceptional person sets a good standard. Then other people would look to us. They would look to our country, and if we are free and prosperous, have sound money, peaceful foreign policy, maybe other countries would say, you know, America is exceptional. Then they would want to emulate us and not think that we have to do that by force. And I think that's what has happened, especially in these last 10 or 15 years. It's been a bad trend. This whole notion came up with the last administration and pursued by this administration, a preemptive war. You know, if they would say what that really is, you know, we live in a time where they use language in a negative fashion. But preemptive war is aggression, is what it is. And we don't have a right to invade another country that has not attacked us, no matter what kind of government they have. This has been going on a lot in the last 10, 11 years. We've been in Afghanistan now more than 10 years. We still are very much in Iraq. And the consequences have not been good. They've been so negative. The number of Americans that have died in these last 10 years, if you count all the military and contractors, it's approaching 9,000. But that's only part of it. When you think about the 44,000 that have come back severely injured, people seem to forget about them. They come back, just think of how many came back that are amputees. And think of the hundreds of thousands now begging and pleading for help at the veterans offices for post-traumatic stress syndrome and brain injury. We need to take care of our veterans. What we need. Is endless. It's going to continue, and the additional cost, of course, is the financial cost. War is always a negative for the economy. People who still believe that you get out of recessions and depressions by war, it's nonsense. The country is always poor. They say, well, we put more people to work. But putting people to work building a bomb or an airplane, you send it over and you blow it out. There's no added benefits to our society. Standard of living doesn't go up. But what they don't think about it, if we wouldn't spend these hundreds of billions of dollars overseas, and that money would be spent back here, maybe we would be competitive in the manufacturing business once again. There's been tremendous blowback from our foreign policy, not only from the 9/11, and I don't know if you saw it just yesterday, the day before, a report came out. The two individuals that were on the 9/11 Commission, Bob Kerrey and Bob Brown, are now saying, well, you know, they're reporting now that Saudi Arabia might have been involved in 9/11. And I said, now they're saying it. Why didn't they say it when they were on the 9/11 Commission and tell the American people the truth? But you know, I always wondered, the truth is, we don't know the truth about 9/11, exactly what happened. Missions and investigations do all that much other than cover up the people who made the mistakes. But what they're saying now is that maybe the government was literally involved. 15 out of the 19 came from Saudi Arabia. The thing that bothered me most back at that time was there were a lot of people from Saudi Arabia in this country, even with the last name of bin Laden. And guess what? They got on their private jets. They flew out of this country before I was allowed to get on an airplane and try to get out of D.C. and come back to Texas. There's something wrong with that.